Unless there's some like global crisis where like all the cows die or something.
Yeah, we have another big bang.
Yeah, the COWVID, you know,
So-
some shit like that.
COWVID would be a wild thing. COWVID, talk about the people on the right jumping to the other side for COWVID. They'd be like, we got to fucking save these guys, dude. We can't be losing burgers.
Cows better start getting vaccinated today.
ASAP. Trying to get my bird. All right. Episode 92 of the Fair Enough podcast. Bob in Detroit, Jack in Detroit, Michael in Chicago. I don't have any 92s. I got no 92s.
Michael Strahan.
Oh, that's a good one. Michael Strahan. I was only thinking hockey.
Wasn't like Reggie White 92 also? Isn't Reggie White like one of the best defensive linemen ever? Wasn't he 92?
Yep, probably.
Yeah, he 1000% was.
There you go. All right, so this is the Strahan episode.
Strahan.
Today we got a couple things that we'll get into later. I kind of want to do a little like we haven't done a Chicago and Detroit little State of the Union for the couple teams that we got playing. So we'll do that maybe at the end. I got some sad NFL stats from the last week that I'd like to share that are kind of crazy. And but first we want to talk about Michael.
I kind of want to talk about this NFL shit real quick because I am looking at a post right now that is the most This is the ESPN NFL FPI rankings via ESPN Analytics. And top 10. Guess who's not in the top 10?
Who?
Take a fucking guess there, mister.
Of the NFL rankings?
The NFL rankings, not in the top 10. I'll give you a hint. You live really close to their stadium.
Oh, the Lions aren't in the top 10?
This says that the Lions are not in the top 10 and I don't know what analytics we're talking about because it goes KC, Baltimore, Buffalo, San Fran, Miami, Dallas, Philly, LA, Cincy, Jacksonville. What the fuck am I looking at right now?
Yeah, that must be very weird analytics for Philly to be that low at anything and the Chargers to be in there in general.
And the Lions to not be in it. Like, I mean, what the fuck are we talking about? I don't, that was weird.
Yeah, it might be
is that top 10 worst teams in the NFL?
It might be like players, like the, you know, in terms of like overall like players rating
grades or something.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe like that. You know how like when they introduce themselves on like Monday night at the bottom, it has like the football rankings of like what they are at their position. Maybe it's something like that because that doesn't make any goddamn sense.
No, that makes no sense.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we should just talk football now. Get it out of
the
way.
Right. Yeah, let's talk some football. Let's go a little round the table here. Well, first we'll dig into our teams a little bit. Lions coming off a bye. Holy fuck, did they ever need that bye? Felt like everybody was hurt. Namely David Montgomery, who would last week, obviously Jameer like off against the Raiders, but it's the fucking Raiders, so it's really hard to tell whether or not that's just
Donta Foreman popped off against the Raiders also. So
exactly, so it's like we don't know. We just want Monty back. We know that guy can do it no matter what, and it sounds like his little rib injury thing that he's got going on is feeling better now, so he's going to be a go for the Chargers on Sunday, which is a weird matchup because you don't really know what Chargers team is going to show up. I feel like they're kind of in that like Bills category where they're sick some weeks and then other weeks they're like their defense is dog shit all of a sudden and they can't do anything. I mean, their defense is 27th in the league as far as like overall numbers, which isn't great. But holy fuck, they made the Jets offense look like shit last night.
Dude, you know what's crazy though? I don't know if I agree with you on that because if you watch, other than a couple of the fumbles, which obviously fumbles are forced by the defense, but dude, the Jets moved the ball a couple times early in the game and got cucked by themselves, fumbling and shit like that. And it's like, dude, I don't know. I mean, then all of a sudden, like the second quarter and third quarter, things got real bad for the Jets. But
Dude,
Like,
both teams were constantly starting like 1st and 20. It was wild
yeah.
to watch. Like both teams just kept shooting themselves in the foot and putting behind the sticks. You're right.
Yeah, that was a. I guess what were you to expect with the Jets game? Other than a boring ass game, but I wish there was a little more fireworks, something.
Dude, I thought they'd at least put one in the end zone. That's one
Yeah.
of the sad NFL stats of the week. Jets only have 8 touchdowns.
I was gonna
Jets
say
off.
the Jets haven't scored. I saw this stat yesterday. The Jets haven't scored more than 2 touchdowns in a game offensively this year.
Yikes.
Yikes is right, dude. Oh
Not
my
gonna win any
God.
games like that.
But
We've
they're
been there.
4 and 5.
I know what it's like.
I don't get it. They have
Oh,
4
dude.
wins.
And that's one of the most confusing things about this league right now, and you and I were talking about it earlier. The Pittsburgh Steelers of the world that have 5 wins somehow, and there's a few teams like that, and the Jets are one of them, where it's like, how does this team have these wins? Because I believe after the Lions, like, now they're in a good spot and they're winning games, I really believe it's like, even if you think this team's a fraud, like, even if people were like, oh, yeah, like, the Lions are kind of fraudulent, like, they haven't really beat a good team. You could say whatever you want about the Kansas City game. I think that in the NFL, it's so fucking hard to win every week that, like, even if you're beating the bad teams, I think you should get a lot of credit for that. And when it comes to, like,
Absolutely.
Pittsburgh and the Jets beating these bad teams, they should still get credit for that.
Absolutely. What the fuck? I mean, there's just so few bad teams, man. Like there really is. It's like the Raiders, the Giants, the Bears, the Panthers. It's like other than that, like who else is bad? I mean, Tennessee, you can kind of make an argument for, but they got a few wins. Like who else is bad? Like
right, I don't know.
Packers maybe, but they got a few wins, like Atlanta's got a few wins. Tampa, like they all have 4 wins out of 9 weeks. It's like they're not that bad. And then, you have the fucking shitters of the world. And I genuinely think, and this is not just me being a homer, the Bears defense right now over the last 4 games has been impressive. Okay. They've only let up, to only let up 24 points yesterday or on Sunday with the starting field position that the Saints had all game is very impressive. And since the Broncos game where we did let up 28, but it was like we were letting up like 0 until like the fucking last 2 quarters, and there was a fucking fumble 6 that fucked it all up. We've only let up like 21 or less, like everybody, and it's like that's not fucking bad for a really dog shit team. So like, you give me Justin Fields in a couple of the last few games, like because we played New Orleans, who we only lost by a touchdown, and then I can't think of who we lost to last week, but we might have 3 or 4 wins, and it's like it's the fucking league is so dumb and so confusing that I absolutely agree with you that even when you beat the bad teams, especially when you beat them the right way, when you beat the fuck out of them, like when you squeak by a bad team, it's a little sketchy, but also, look at college football. How many times does a Ohio State lose to a team the week before they're gonna play Michigan State, or not cover and like barely squeak by or something like that? And you're like, yeah, it's because it's a trap game, like so many
look ahead.
Yeah, so fuck yeah, dude. I think people are so dumb, and this league is so even, and it's confusing.
And that's why we and most other people lose a lot of money on Sundays because we don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. It's impossible.
I don't care how sharp you are, bro. Like I don't give a fuck how sharp you are. This year, unless you're playing over-unders, picking fucking spreads is crazy. Like, I don't give a fuck who you are. It's so difficult, man. Because, yeah, I don't know. And also, these bad teams get such high numbers where it's like every KC game, it's like a 9.5 point favorite. And it's like, why?
Yep.
Like, or, Dallas, and you're like, why? And you're like, it's just so confusing.
Dude, that game last night, everybody and their cousin's brother's fucking uncle was on the Jets plus 3.5. Everybody. I'm talking like everywhere I looked on Twitter, I was trying to get away from it. I was like, how do I not bet the Jets plus 3.5? How can I do it? And I couldn't find a way. And guess what I did? I bet him plus 10.5. And guess what? That shit didn't fucking smack either. So everybody with the 3.5 was also wrong. So, I mean, talk about a great night for the sports book and the casinos last night. They absolutely cleaned up on all of America, believing that the Jets could score a touchdown when they haven't all year.
Yeah, God.
I have a sports-related question.
Hit me.
So you know how, and you guys better have experienced this or I'll be upset. When you, like, let's say you're going from 8th grade football or hockey or baseball to like high school, like let's say you're playing JV next year, and that first time you hop into a game and you're like, fuck, these guys are like old as hell. These are some grown-ass men. Okay, and then you get to college, you might be a freshman playing against seniors, so that's like a 3-year difference, maybe 4. But then you get to the NFL as like a 22-year-old, and you're getting fucking smoked by some 33-year-old linebacker.
Dad strength.
Do you think they think about that shit? Like, this guy's got 2 kids. I just got out of college yesterday.
I don't think so.
I don't think they think about it because they're so good at their job already.
Yeah.
By the time that they get into the NFL, they're like, I'm the baddest shit out here.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you're absolutely right. I think the biggest time that I realized that was because football, it was a while between when I played and then went to high school and played. But hockey, like jumping from like house to high school, I was like, oh shit, like everybody's fucking huge now. I'm back to being by far the smallest person out here.
Yeah.
I don't think they think that in the NFL.
I think that pertains a little more. If you were to pick a sport, I would say basketball, NBA. Because like you even look at a guy like Victor Wembanyama, right? He's starting to come around. He's really playing pretty well. But like his first couple of games, like he's played pro basketball his last 4 years of his life, you know, from when he was like 14 out there in France. But like he was shooting like only threes to start his first like 3 games. It's like because I mean, he's 7'6" or whatever, 7'5" and can handle the ball. He like was, I don't know about afraid to go to the paint, but like he never tried to baby anybody. It's like I think that's because he was a little bit intimidated by like the girthiness of some of these bigger centers. And it's like, oh, I mean, it probably only takes them 10 games to really come into their own, but like right away you're like, oh, these are men. Especially because in basketball, you don't you can leave as a freshman, I believe, in basketball, right?
Yep,
Isn't that the
one
rule?
and done.
Yeah. So most of these guys are only 18, 19 getting into the league.
Now you don't even have to do that. You can go play for the G League team.
Yeah.
For a year.
Like, yeah. And it's like, then you're like, oh, hey, LeBron James is across from me.
Yeah.
I'm 18 years old. And LeBron is a freak of nature. And obviously, like, you know, top 2 of all time, arguably. And it's like, that is intimidating as fuck. I think when you're on a team, like in a football setting, there's so many moving parts. You're not one-on-one with anybody. I do think it's a little less intimidating. And like Bob said, they're just so good at their jobs that they don't give a. It's just all being athletic.
Let's embrace that. Go ahead,
what?
Jack.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
The part that, like if I was hooping, like I could go hoop against LeBron right now and it wouldn't scare me. I would get my ass kicked, but I wouldn't be scared. But in football, or like, I guess specifically, I was thinking about hockey. It's like, this guy might actually take my fucking noggin off.
Right, because it's a physical sport.
Yeah.
Whereas basketball technically is not, even though LeBron's probably going to body you. And
he would
definitely
probably
hurt you at some point.
And the thing is, though, in football and stuff like that, I mean, maybe hockey's a little different, but like the physical, like you're built for this, you know what I mean? Like there's not that many like tall lanky dudes in the league that are like abnormally like their body weight and fucking height and stuff like doesn't make sense. Like most of these guys, first of all, especially if you play in the SEC, you're already getting hit by the same size guys. If you play in the Big Ten, you're already getting hit by a lot of guys that are in the same shape and or already pro level players. So I don't think just because they're old and have dad strength and 2 kids and a dong down to their knees means they're gonna be fucking you know, a little more scared from getting hit. Like you get bopped where you get bopped, I think.
Well, let's embrace debate. What league of like the 4 major sports do you think it's the biggest change in the game from college to NBA or college to like the pros. I feel like NBA is such a big change because it's such a team game in college
Yeah.
basketball. Whereas when you go to the NBA, it is completely different
I don't know if I agree with it. I
and a lot
think,
faster.
but I just think if you can hoop, you can hoop. Like if there's a
Oh
guy,
yeah,
like if you're a baller, you can play, like you can hold your own. I
for
mean,
sure.
I don't know. I think
I just think the
basketball is
game
probably
is
the
different. Like
easiest.
on an
Oh,
individual basis, like I get like okay, Cade for example, he was a dog at Oklahoma State. Like everybody knew, okay,
mhm.
this guy looks like he can play in the league, and he's doing fine. But I'm saying from like a team aspect, like
I,
it's so much different college basketball where you're
dude,
really trying to set plays up and shit. Where in the NBA, I feel like it's so much more ISO and making your own plays.
I think that I think that holds super true for like big men going from college to pros. I don't think guards have that much to worry about, even like a three. But like centers, I mean, think about centers that didn't get drafted. You know, like the Timmies and the what's the kid from fucking Connecticut. Like
Mm-hmm.
those guys didn't get drafted, and they were literally like the player of the year the last years. But it's like the center that can't stretch the floor and handle the ball and this and that. It's like you're useless almost in the
It's no
NBA.
place for you. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like I don't think the guards in the threes and the the stretch fours have to worry about that in
Right.
this league comparatively. But I do think for the bigs it's a little different.
You're right. It's like a Hunter Dickinson. There is no place for him in the NBA, unfortunately,
No,
unless
well,
he
no,
starts banging threes.
yeah, he got to start smacking threes, and I feel like
Yep.
that's what he's gonna do. Like you have to smack threes, or I mean, you're gonna you make your money as like a Rudy Gobert.
Yep.
Where you're just a defensive savant, which I don't think Hunter Dickinson necessarily is.
He's just not fast enough to be.
No. But I think baseball personally though, dude, because
Is the biggest like
the
difference.
biggest
Obviously, it's
difference in
steel to wood
skill.
bats and shit like that. Like
Yeah,
there's a lot
and
of like
also
actual differences.
yeah, exactly. Like it's like you're doing that, and then like you look at like the studs that throw in like D1 baseball. It's like if you are in like the 92 range, like that's
You're a
hard.
stud. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like you go to the pros and like you're barely seeing under 95 anymore. And I
Right.
feel like that. Not, I mean, granted, a fastball is a fastball, but like, if you can hit 92, you can hit 98. But it's just that's a big leap when you're seeing a 92-mile-an-hour slider when usually the fastball is like that.
Right. Oh shit. Yeah. That's got to be the hardest part.
Yeah, that's my thing
When
is
that shit's
just
coming
that.
at you.
Yeah, it's crazy, but
That'd be
I think
tough.
yeah, I don't know.
I feel like hockey and football are kind of like hockey definitely is a lot different skill wise, I guess. I think the game is just way faster
yeah,
because not
People
almost
from
almost everybody doesn't come from college for hockey.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. People from hockey come from a lot of different places. Like if
Yeah.
you compare the OHL to the NHL, it's not that much different. But if you compare like, I guess D1 college hockey is a lot different.
like
But you watch one of those games and 90% of those guys look like they could be on any
I think
NHL team.
that
So I don't know.
I think that for hockey and basketball, or not basketball, hockey and football, it's like systematic. Like I think where you end up really like determines how the leap's going to be for you. Like if you're put in
Mm-hmm.
the right spot as a wide receiver and you have a guy that can throw the ball and you
Right.
kind of have to just run your route and the ball is going to be on you, it makes it a lot easier than you having to be Garrett Wilson and have to be a fucking stud. Like he's an animal, but like he has to pretty much make his own shot and then
Right.
have get the ball there. Same thing in
That's a good
hockey. Like
point.
if you're around, like look at an Alex DeBrincat, right? Alex DeBrincat always has been a natural goal scorer. He scored goals in the but look who he was playing with. He's playing with Connor McDavid, and then he goes to the fucking league and he's playing with Patrick Kane and fucking Jonathan Taves and some other skilled guys. And then he go. So it's like he's just kind of had a really easy road, like
Yeah.
to let that skill shine through when there's
Yeah.
guys that are just as talented, but they don't have the opportunity to get that confidence, to get those minutes, and it really kind of fucks you up. And I feel like those are the two biggest ones where like if you're on the right team, it makes that leap so much easier, even if you're just as skilled as somebody else.
I think
Yep.
it works the other way too. Like even conference based, like if you play Division I football in Conference USA versus a team in the SEC, you're playing NFL ready teams every week almost in the SEC, but you can't say the same about fucking, I don't
Yeah.
know.
For sure.
I just
You know what
feel
I'm
like
saying?
it's you're reliant on your team more so in those two sports than in
Yeah.
baseball. It's like you got to make the play and hit the ball. Basketball, it's like you guard maybe one guy and then you fucking just shoot. Like those two, it's like you need to rely, unless you're the quarterback or the goalie, you need to rely on everybody else to do shit at the same time. It's like
Yep,
even
to
then,
help
you
you.
know?
You're right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know which way. I feel like you're right. Baseball's probably the biggest, like, that first year shock factor. Holy shit.
Yeah.
How do I adjust to the game compared to the other three?
And it's just so solo. It's just so by yourself that like
Yep.
there's no one else helping you as a hitter. Like there's no one else helping you as a pitcher, and it's as simple as that. 1v1 every single time. So
Or there's guys like Javi Baez that just stink.
well, he was a fucking runner up for the MVP, and then all of a sudden he just forgot. He just said, "Oh, slider. All right, I'm swinging."
Maybe one of
Dude.
the greatest falls skill level wise in sports history.
Dude. Yeah, he was a stud. He was a top fucking 5 shortstop for like 4 years in a row, and then was like,
That's crazy.
yeah, it is very, very, very crazy.
And the fucked up part of it, we're not talking Tigers baseball, but the fucked up part of it is that you see flashes of it, and that's what makes you the most angry.
No, for sure. He needs to just start hitting lefty.
And playing the field lefty. Like, the guy has so many errors. It's crazy. And then he'll make a play, and you'll be like, holy shit, dude. Like, he throws it to first faster than most pitchers, and, like, he'll make a diving play, and then the next play he'll fucking dink right off his head. What an asshole.
I hate talking about him because, yeah, he just, like, he was the start of it for the Cubs. Yeah, him sucking dick is the start of the downfall, I swear.
You want me to run through a couple of these sad NFL stats before we jump off NFL?
Fuck it. Yeah,
all right.
Sure.
Let me tell you about some of your favorite teams. Let's go some NFL shutouts. The last time teams have had shutouts. You ready?
Okay.
Let's see where everybody ranks. So the Saints are at the top of the list here. The Saints had a shutout. I can't tell if this was this year or last year. The Saints and the Cowboys both had shutouts in the last year. Lions haven't had a shutout since 2018. Do you want to guess the Bears? Last shutout.
Is it within the decade?
It is not within a decade, no.
Is it the 06 team?
Nope. They did it after that.
Damn. Wait.
2010.
2010. Okay.
2010. They are fourth to last.
Really?
The last team, the team that hasn't gotten a shutout in the longest is the mistake by the lake, the Cleveland Browns. 2007 was their last shutout. Last time they shut a team out.
Damn, that's crazy.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's dude, especially nowadays, it's just so hard to get a shutout though, man. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, what was the Dallas Cowboys? Was that this year against the Giants? Was that a shutout? That 41-0, wherever the fuck it was.
That might have been a shutout. Maybe that's the one they have on here. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just so hard to do.
Yeah. Oh, it's impossible to have another team not score is crazy.
Yeah. But you know what? That makes me happy, though, because the thing is, you run Lovie Smith out of town, you're not going to shut anybody out. All right? Simple
You're
as
right.
that. So,
you're right.
Fuck them.
Lovie was the glue that held it all together.
Yeah. And he was also the glue that now holds Brian Urlacher's hair together.
He is. He is also that glue. And God, does it look great. And that's why we should have kept that guy in Chicago. Another sad stat. Clayton Tune averaged 0.63 yards per dropback on Sunday. This is the stat. This is from a guy from Barstool wrote this blog, just kind of giving these stats. Said if NFL teams were given 16 downs to make a first, Tune's 0.63 yards per play would force the Cardinals to have to punt on the 16th down. That's tough.
That is horrible.
That's really
Dude,
tough.
You know, they need to give that kid a break, though, man. That guy, I mean, they got fucking mollywopped. What are you going to do?
Well, and we just talked about guys being thrown into situations in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's probably the worst situation you could get thrown into down there in Arizona. I mean, they just have.
Yeah. And
They got
Myles
Hollywood,
Garrett.
and that's about it.
And you got Myles Garrett fucking breathing down your neck the whole game. Like,
Right.
Like,
Right.
what are you going to do? So,
Not much.
what's another one?
Let me give you one more here. 3 place kickers this season have missed field goals at or shorter than where that running back for the Texans hit his 29-yarder. So 3 actual kickers. Shout out to Riley Patterson. The Lions kicker missed one from 26 against the Raiders. So 3 kickers have missed a shorter field goal than that Dare Ogunbowale. Yeah. Shout out to that guy.
Dude,
banged one home.
I'm not gonna lie though, dude. It looked good. I mean, that looked nice.
Oh, it looked really nice.
He could have made that from 40 for sure.
And like I said, and I thought James had a great suggestion, we just need to see this more. It's kind of like it's to me, it's exactly like when a position player pitches in the MLB. It's the same excitement for me.
Mm-hmm.
Same exact excitement.
My thing is, they obviously practice that. Like, if they don't like, you got to practice this. You have to have someone on your team that if and when the guy goes down, for one, if your punter can't kick, which that always blows my mind that the punter can't be the guy.
Yeah. Why is that the case?
Dude, that's the case on a lot of teams, I'm pretty sure, too. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, you're the punter. Like, you kick for a living. Like, I don't understand it.
Right. It's that much different.
Yeah, I don't. Especially on, like, the chip shots, dude. It's like, bro, you're just, like, it's not like you don't got to kick the 60-yarder, but, like, you're telling me you can't hit a 35-yard field goal? You're telling me that the punter wasn't the place kicker and the the kicker for his high school team?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you have experience. Like, don't fucking lie to me. Don't just tell me, yeah, I'm going into punting early and I'm not doing anything else.
Dude, half the time at the small schools too, like they're kicking like in college too. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That blows my brain apart when a running back like that comes in there and just bangs one. It's like probably hasn't kicked in years.
All right, so what was your dumbass question? You fucking said that is there a way to make it fucking where a 50-yard position player kick is worth more than a 2-point conversion?
Yeah.
No, that's insane. Because all of a sudden, what designates you as a position player? Because I just start fucking signing
anybody that's not a kicker. Yeah, that'd be legal. But will you put a spot on the 53-man roster for that?
If he can hit a 50-yarder, yeah, dude.
What do you think about James' suggestion? You can kick for 2 points after a touchdown, but the other team gets to pick the player that kicks it.
No, that's dumb. Because
that way the other team has an incentive too because they think that they're picking somebody that they think sucks.
Are you kicking it from the normal extra point, the 30-whatever yarder?
Yep.
Yeah, no, that'd be dumb as fuck. They would pick a fucking O-lineman's fat ass every time. They'd pick the fattest dude on the fucking court.
Yeah, but if you were down 2 and you needed it, and you might trust your guys more than trust your offense to get the 2.
No. Why? You're gonna trust
your left guard's leg? You got no trust in your left guard's leg?
Absolutely not. I trust my quarterback. If I have a good quarterback, I trust. If I'm the fucking Mount a sissy of the blind, maybe, but I'm not doing it if I got a good quarterback. Like, if it's the Bears, maybe, because Tyson Badgen's not getting it done. But, like, no, fuck no. That's crazy to me. I think
Could
that's
you
dumb.
imagine what if instead of like the double doink was an extra point, and instead of the double doink, you guys could have had like Khalil Mack try to line up a field goal for 2 to tie the game instead of overtime. I know I'm splitting hairs here, but I'm just saying that'd be electric television.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, that's like, no, you can't. Let's not fuck up the game. Kicking already sucks. Like, I wish kicking wasn't even part of the game, but let's not fuck it up even more.
Kicking does suck. Anything else? NFL? Any like bets or anything? Anything running through your brain? Bears, State of the Union. Bears stink. Bears are good.
No, they're not good. Sadly enough, I weirdly think they're growing in the right direction defensively, but offense is just nothing. So it's
Are we a little bit peeved about the Cardinals going full tank mode, trying to get that 1 spot, or it doesn't even matter at this point? You guys don't care if it's 2-3, if it's 1-2.
I don't know.
You just want 2 in the top 5.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go quarterback anyway, so I don't think it matters.
How are they not going to go quarterback? And what planet do they not go quarterback?
Dude,
they're running with the Badgett?
No, Justin Fields.
Oh.
I don't know. They're just not smart. Maybe they do. I don't know. I mean, at this point, Arizona's not going full tank mode, though. They're getting Kyler Murray back tomorrow.
Yeah, full tank mode.
I mean, Josh Dobbs, they got rid of Josh Dobbs. That was smart because they're getting Kyler back. They just knew they were going to have to get pummeled one game with this Clayton Tune kid who probably won't ever steal the field again. But
I'm so mad that I have to fucking hate Romeo Joshua Doubs. I wanted to like him. I really liked him when he was in Arizona. And now he's with the stupid Vikings, and now I got to hate him because he's going to beat us for sure. Oh, and I'm going to hate him.
I mean,
that video.
What video?
That video of fucking Vikings fans shaving their eyebrows.
Oh, no.
Don't look like old Josh Dobbs is so good. You got to embrace the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, alopecia and all.
It's hard to not be romantic like about like that situation and be like, wow, like how do you not just love that? Like, you're like, this is
right.
amazing. Like, that's one of the cooler stories of the NFL so far this year. So I'm on the Dobbs train.
That was like my one straight bet of the week too. Was
Atlanta.
Yep, -3.5. They were up 4 before Romeo Joshua Doubs put that last touchdown to seal the deal. So that's real tough. So fuck that guy double, but I also appreciate the story, like you said.
Definitely.
Here's a wild little thing.
Sure.
So apparently OpenAI, like the AI platform, has predicted that the world will be fully vegan by 2075.
No, it won't.
That's what I kind of thought too, but thoughts? Is there any way that's 50 years?
I was just saying, like,
we're gonna be alive.
Yeah, we'll probably be alive. Like, I don't see myself going vegan unless it's like we have to.
That's what I was thinking. It would have to be like we're out of cows. We fucked up. We thought we'd have enough. We didn't.
We
ended up not having enough. Yep. So we're fucked. That'd be the only way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't understand unless they're gonna like streamline everything and we're only just eating my fucking milkshakes for the rest. Like, I don't get. There's no way. What were the details? Do you have any details?
I can pull up the details.
What did it say? It said that, like, what was the reasoning? Is it going to be like because of resources or because of health or like? Because I'm not convinced being vegan is that much healthier than being, as long as you have if you have a shitty diet, you have a shitty diet. Simple as that. I don't think vegan or being a vegetarian helps it one way or the other if you do it appropriately.
I just don't want to get my protein in other ways. All right, here's a little story here. Artificial intelligence has predicted the majority of the world will be vegan by 2075. This is due to the record numbers of environmentally conscious Gen Z and millennials ditching meat for plant-based options. Now, OpenAI's ChatGPT has shared details for the end of meat and dairy consumption after being asked to provide a timeline of the world going vegan starting in 2024. So while dairy and meta alternatives are pricey, Impossible Foods vegan patty costs standard restaurants $3.63 compared to an average meat burger costs $1.58. The chatbot believes this will change in 2032. A breakthrough in food technology leads to more affordable and convincing plant-based meat and dairy alternatives. So that's what they're thinking. The price on these alternatives will go down so far that we will be able to completely replace it with regular meat, is what the thought
I
is.
think that it's really overestimating or underestimating like how many people are not like super environmentally conscious and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I don't like it. I think that's silly. I don't know.
It's so hard to think about because it's such a long time. Because if you think like 100 years ago was 1923, people weren't even jumping on planes. And now we're like, yeah, we're soaring through the sky, no problem. So
but also, I mean, dude,
it's hard to tell.
2032, like, that's so close. That's less than 10 years away, where it's like,
right.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the world is a crazy thing to say. Cause like, motherfucker, there's probably towns in, Africa and like, rural Asia and everywhere in the world that just, it's like, hey, you fucking live off what you kill and like shit like that, like they don't have the option to go get the fucking tofu,
an Impossible Burger on a gluten-free bun.
Right? Like, what the fuck? I don't know.
No chance.
I just can't see that. I can't see old fucking Tink getting that,
No, it's not happening.
It is what it is. If it did, I just don't understand. I mean, they better really step up their fucking game on the flavor and shit like that. Like, you better hit the mark, Like, I'm not trying to be fucking.
That's what I was just trying to think about too. I was trying to think like devil's advocate. Okay, how could I convince myself to like this? And it would have to taste the same. It'd have to be the same experience for me.
Yeah.
Or a better one.
Yeah, exactly. And it can't just be taste. It's got to be texture, consistency. Like, it's got to be everything, or at least hit 4 or 5 boxes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, also, like, what about like an egg? Like, I like eggs. Like, that's such a tough one to replace.
How are we? There's so many chickens, dude. There's so many of them. It's crazy. It's insane that like there aren't chickens just wandering in everybody's front yard. There's so many chickens. There's no way
they put them in
that we're running out.
Boxes that are this big, and they, that's
there's no way they're finding. There's no way they're finding a better alternative to eggs.
That's my thing. Like, how do you substitute eggs? If I wanted a fried egg, what are you gonna do? You're gonna give me a gusher and you're gonna put it around a fucking
tofu egg.
Yeah, tofu. These nuts, dude. I don't want anything like that.
An impossible egg. This egg was conceived out of nowhere.
No, I don't like it. I think 2075. That's way too soon.
Jack, you're a vegan. Thoughts?
I'm not. I don't know, dude. There's a lot of money in
food,
farms and food and shit like that.
It's like the most money outside of like pharmaceuticals, right? It's like pharmaceuticals, agriculture.
Yeah, shit ton of money. So I don't know. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. But I was thinking, does this count like, because now we're getting into like lab made meats and shit like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like
so like,
yeah, like artificial meat.
Yes. So like, does that count as being vegetarian still or vegan? I mean,
yeah, I think it does. I think that's what AI is probably thinking, is that we're going to have those way more developed by 2075, where they might meet me and Mike's demands of texture, taste, all these boxes that they need to check.
Right.
As that artificial meat.
Yeah.
I just think it's hard to. I don't know. I just think that they're underestimating the fucking right wing conservatives in the world.
Yeah,
Take
yeah,
away
bro.
my guns, take away my meat too.
Not
Well,
my
yeah.
eggs.
People
Not my
love
egg.
cooking too. That's another problem. Like all those
Yeah.
asshole dads that fucking smoke a brisket for 74
Hey,
hours. You
That
know?
shit's mesmerizing to watch on the old TT, bro. So
Oh
relax.
yeah, dude. No, I'm 1000% tuned in
Okay.
to every single
Okay,
yeah.
good. Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like there is such a passion and love, and then the money of it on top of that. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
Only
another thing too. Like,
75 might be pushing it, unless there's some like global crisis where like all the cows die or something.
yeah, we have another big bang.
Yeah, the COWVID, you know,
So,
some shit like that.
That's another thing
COWVID
too,
would
like,
be a wild thing. COWVID, talk about like the people on the right jumping to the other side for COWVID. They'd be like, we gotta fucking save these guys, dude. We can't be losing.
These fucking cows better start getting vaccinated today.
Fucking vaccine.
ASAP. Trying to get my bird.
Yeah. My thing too. Well, another thing I'm thinking about now is like, what about like the restaurant business? Like that would be almost obsolete at that point, right? Like, I mean, granted,
That'd be such a hard pivot. Food is one of those things that obviously like it changes to a certain degree, but I feel like it's generally been the same for so fucking long. Like when did they invent the cheeseburger? I don't know. But it was probably a long time ago.
As soon as they put fire to meat, they were like, "Oh, let's patty this thing up."
Yeah, they said, "Who's got the ketchup?"
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are we doing here? You know, how do I put carbs into this meat? I'll put it in between it. We'll call it a burger. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but you know what? At that point, I'll be about 80 years old. And crack. I'll just get on the crack, maybe some meth, take myself out fast. Don't have to worry about all that shit.
That will be fun. I was actually in Meijer yesterday, and this old lady was just kind of perusing the Meijer pastry section. Just like where they have all their cakes and their cookies and all that shit that they make. An area where if between the ages of 5 and 65, you might as well not even be allowed to enter it because you're like, I can't buy a cake from Meijer. I'll be fat as shit. There's no way I could do that and like live with myself. So I can't wait to get to that age where it's like, dude, I'm going to the grocery store and I'm getting my ass in that pastry section because there's nothing else that I care about anymore. I'm fat as shit. I could just let it go.
Yeah. And then you offset it with the crack. And you're good.
Oh yeah,
you're just high as fuck eating cake all day. Like what else can you want?
Cake's a downer, and then crack's the upper.
Yeah,
you even out. I can't wait to get to that point.
I know. I kind of already am at that point, and I need to stop.
You're not though. You're not as free as you want it to be. You're guilty. I want no guilt.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair enough. I yes, you're right. Guilt free.
Imagine that feeling. Because you pass it every time you're in there and you're like, fuck, that looks so good. I really wish I could have that like box of cupcakes.
Yeah.
And when you're 68, it's like, well, I'm going to have them.
Yeah.
I'm taking these home.
Yeah,
that's sick.
Very true. Dude, so this is a hard pivot, but as I left work today, I left my keys in the office and I locked myself out.
No.
And I broke in pretty fucking easily.
Okay.
So nobody.
What was the method?
I used the fucking credit card.
You did the credit card.
I did, yeah.
And you did so the credit card has to go behind the lock and then slip through, correct?
So what I did I think that's what the actual play is because there's an angle on the lock then, but because our doors are already kind of a little fucked up. So, like, I was able to just kind of zhush it from the top, like zhush and yank, and it worked. But I was so, like, kind of terrified for no reason. I could have just called someone that works there, but I was like, did I really just do this? I haven't felt that helpless in a really long time. And I was wondering,
were you the last one leaving or something?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh,
Yep, didn't have my. I was like, I had my phone and stuff, but like, have you guys ever done that? Have you ever locked your keys in your car or locked yourself out of something where like you're just like, well, what the fuck do I do now?
Go
Dude, I
ahead,
used to
Jack.
lock my keys in my car all the fucking time. But it was kind of clutch that I drove a little shitmobile because the door was just flimsy as hell. So I could just I could almost do it. I could pull the door off the frame with one hand and just like stick something in and hit the unlock button.
This is
But
the
I have
Grand
not
Am or
done
the
that.
Grand Prix?
This is the Grand Am. The Grand
Oh,
Prix,
yeah.
I locked my keys in there a couple times, but it's not as shitty of a vehicle. So I had to get the spare, but there was a spare for that. For the Grand Am, no spare.
You have way too many accounts, it sounds like, of this happening.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
I was gonna say, dude. He talks earlier about how he's a dropper. He's afraid to move all of his electronics out of his fucking apartment. He can't
Yeah.
pour a fucking beverage, and now he locks his keys in
No,
his
no.
car all the time.
I've done literal rocket science, but don't ask me to like pour something out of a pitcher. I won't.
You freeze.
I will freeze the fuck up, dude. And it's always been like that. Bob, you got to have memories of me just like completely shitting, like jug of milk, gallon of milk, gone. Every
Oh,
pitcher of
yeah.
Kool-Aid ever, gone.
Jack was a he was like not cereal like Frosted Flakes, cereal like this happens
Like
all the time,
cereal
was a
killer, yeah.
cereal dropper for sure when he was little.
That's hilarious. All I could
But
Dude, I
picture is
did a
the kid
lot of
with
dumb
daddy.
shit though, dude. I put peanut butter bread in the microwave trying to toast it. I put this bitch in there for like 5 minutes. And the
Which is a
peanut
good
butter
idea.
obviously came out at near the temperature of the surface of the sun.
Yep.
And I just grabbed it. I like was swinging the motherfucker around and the peanut butter splashed on me because at this point it's liquid. And I had like some really fucked up burns on me and everybody was like, why did you think that was a good idea? But I don't know, man. I just, some simple tasks like that, I'm no good at. So
I had something similar happen to me. I mean, I guess not even close to similar to that story that you just told. Nobody has a story that's similar to that. The closest story I have to that is that I put my fan remote in the microwave. That was fun.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
That was a good one. It
When
just
the
started
fuck?
smoking. This was when we lived on North Oakley. I was really young. This is before we.
Oh, I thought you meant as an adult. I was like, what the
No,
fuck?
I was like 6 or 7 probably, and just wanted to see what would happen. This is before we even remodeled the kitchen on North Oakley, so it was
God.
it was forever ago.
Yeah.
But something like this happened to me this weekend where I was under pressure, and it was like an everyday situation. We were at the painting. We did like the painting, pottery, and drink wine thing
Yeah.
this weekend, double date.
Mhm.
And we were parking downtown Royal Oak, and we had to go up to one of those little like parking kiosks, and you
Meters,
put your you put your little you put your license plate in, and then you kind of move on, and then you just come back and pay whatever. So I'm trying to like put my credit card in there. This is before we go into the pottery place. Everybody's standing behind me, so I already know that this isn't going to go well. I don't do well in these situations. Like everyday tasks in front of a bunch of other people, especially people that know me, and this is all people that know me really well, I can't perform. I'll perform 100 times at work in front of people that don't know me at all, way before I can perform a simple task in front of people that actually love me. So I was putting my credit card in there, and it wasn't fucking working at all because I have one of those dumb credit cards where the stripe is on the bottom rather than being on the top because Capital One's a bunch of assholes. So it never, like, whenever I put it in the way that it tells me to, it's never right.
Oh,
it's like, nope. And I'm
What do you
looking at the
do?
people. Well, I'm looking at the people behind me, the assholes, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, you guys see that I'm doing this right? And they're like, well, it might be time to move on to the debit card. So that's what I did. Pissed off. I had to fold eventually and move on to the debit and put that in there because it's a normal card. But, dude, I freeze in any kind of situation where I have to perform a simple task like that in front of people I like.
And that's funny. I have a similar thing. You know what? It gets me at work. like I'm a fairly good typer. I'm not elite by any means, but like I can type. You know what I mean? I'm not a fucking idiot. I can
You know
make
your
it
way
happen.
around a keyboard.
Exactly. But dude, once I'm sitting there and someone's like watching me type, your boy messes up every single word. It's like, dude, what the fuck is going on? And it's like all you hear is just backspace, backspace. And I'm like, dude, it's almost embarrassing. You're like, why can't I
It
type
is.
right now? I'm about to start going one finger at a time because it's like, what are we doing here, Mike? Like, you do this
Yeah.
every day. You're like, your job is mostly typing shit. And then when someone is even like glaring at you, it's like, nope, I'm a first grader.
Yeah,
It's
I'm an
really
idiot
sensitive.
now. I can't do this simple task. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the worst. It's like, stop
Yep,
breathing
yep.
on me and I'll fucking type you up a novel. How about that?
Yeah, it's so confusing, man. It pisses me off. It's like Michael J. Fox steps into the room when someone else is in there. It's like, what the
You're
fuck,
just all
man?
over the place.
Yeah.
What you're gonna have a cheat sheet. I was gonna ask you what number is the dollar sign associated with on a keyboard?
4.
Damn, dude, kid knows his way around a keyboard.
Right?
I mean,
I have a keyboard.
that's a good test.
I do have a keyboard right in front of me, but I did not look at it, and I did know it was 4.
That's I could tell the way that you were looking at me that was an honest.
Yeah.
Like this was me knowing.
I'm not a scumbag.
Right.
Speaking of cheat sheets, Tinder sent me a message today, and it was like, oh, check out our new Tinder Select. You're qualified.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa is right. And then I'm
You've
like,
been
okay,
building
so,
up those points. That's why.
right.
You've
So
been
I'm like
chopping
looking
there.
at it, and it was like, see if you want to be, see if you can handle it type shit, and like all this shit. I'm like, okay. And I click on it, and it's like, yeah, you're qualified for Tinder Plus. I'm like, oh, maybe it's gonna be like $50 a month. Grant, I wasn't going to do it, so let's just throw that one out there right the fuck now. I wasn't going to do it, but I get to the part where it says, hey, how much it is. Take a fucking wild guess how much this costs per month.
Tinder Plus.
Tinder Select, not Tinder Plus.
Tinder Select.
Tinder
Give me
Select.
some of, before I guess the price, give me some of the perks to Tinder Select so I
Okay.
can really get the idea.
So you can direct messages. You can slide into DMs without having to match first and go right to the top of their inbox. Up to 2 per week or 2 times per week. Some members may opt out of DM. So you can DM people without matching them. Okay.
Damn.
Then the
kinda
next
wild.
one.
It's like
Yeah,
Instagram, essentially.
It's kind of creepy, actually.
Yeah.
The next one is skip the line. Your time is valuable. Speed things up when your likes get top spots and are always unblurred. So pretty much every time you like someone, the motherfucker across from you can see it. Okay. Then the next one is select mode. See and be seen by Tinder's most sought after profiles. You can enjoy more exceptional connections. Pretty much the baddies get to see you more. And then next it says VIP experience, which is membership spots are limited to less than 1% of users to ensure you receive the most exclusive experience possible. So I'm a 1%er on Tinder. That's a fucking joke if I'd ever heard. And then early access to certain new features. Be among the first to test special new features in advance. So those are the perks that it throws out at you. Like that's what it gives you. So take a wild guess on how much that costs.
Wait. Let me preface this, Bob.
Okay.
You can buy regular Tinder Plus for $13 a week.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Because I have Tinder Platinum like a fucking scumbag. I pay like $100 and some for the year or some shit.
Oh,
you are a 1%er on there, Mike. You have a podcast. You got a great beard.
Yeah,
You're 1%.
Right. Anyways,
yeah, and he's a platinum member.
Guy's
So
an
it's
athlete too. I've seen it.
I didn't know that it was $13 a week. But anyways, just I want to hear some numbers. Do you know?
Well, I was gonna say $69.99 because that sounds like some Tinder shit that they would do.
Yeah, the top.
But I think I'm gonna after hearing $13 a week. Is it $100 a month?
$499.99 a month.
You're joking.
I swear to God, I looked at it and I said, "What the fuck are we doing here?" Like
You have to be joking.
I swear to God, dude.
There is no fucking way that it is $500 for a month. That's
Can you see?
insane.
Holy fuck.
Holy shit, it is.
$4.99.
What is the price of love is what Tinder
What?
is asking. And
Dude.
maybe it's $500. That's kind of where I draw the line.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I mean, what the fuck is that shit, dude? I almost dropped my drawers. I was like, oh yeah, fuck it. If it's like an extra like $10 a month, I would have done it because it's like you can do a bunch
at least a month. Like try it.
Yeah, and then I was like, dude, so confused. That is obnoxious. These motherfuckers are gangsters out here because they're gonna get some nerdy motherfuckers that can't do it, and they're gonna get some shit. That's crazy.
I think the core. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the correlation between the people that can afford that, like the people that can actually afford that, probably don't need it.
I was gonna say there's a graph, and as you go up, it's how much money you make compared to how much you don't need dating apps or Tinder.
It's like it's going up, and then like the pussies on the sides, like pussies up, you're going up.
Exactly.
Need for Tinder going the wrong way.
Exactly, dude. And how much money you make going, you're back at the fucking axis, bro. Like you're back at the
like, live graphs are not our strong suit, but I think we should add that in every week as a segment.
Dude,
Some sort of a live graph.
I got a whiteboard. I'll put it behind me.
Oh,
and we'll start doing a graph every day.
We should do a graph a week, I think.
But yeah, the pussy to money thing in the Tinder Select right down the middle, it just makes no fucking sense.
That's crazy.
Insane.
So it has to be like a one-off thing where somebody's like, I'm so fucking desperate right now. I barely got 500 stones, but I'm putting it towards this to find me an old lady.
I mean, it better work though. You better fucking come out on top, man. That's
imagine it not working.
Dude, I couldn't. I couldn't. That would make me want to literally. I mean, at that point, it's like, you know how many people are gonna kill themselves for this?
I was gonna say, dude, you could sue Tinder.
I just spent $500 and I still can't find love. I'm killing myself now. Like, what the fuck?
Like, I feel like families could sue Tinder over it being like, you made them go broke searching for something that they weren't gonna find.
Exactly. And it's like, dude, I don't give a fuck I don't care how much you pay and how much you can be like, hey, I'm gonna slide into your DMs first and this and that.
Yeah.
It's like, chicks, if they don't think you're good looking, guess what they have to go off of? Your fucking photos. If you don't got it, you don't got it,
Yep.
Unless they can see that you have Tinder Select and they're like, oh, he's got fucking 500 a month though. All right, and fucking gold dig. I mean, that I don't know.
That could be, that's a spin zone way to look at it, I suppose. But do they see that? Can they see that you have that? Probably. I would hope.
I don't know, and I will not ever know. Let me tell you what.
Damn.
I won't know that.
Well, if anybody wants to know, we'll set up a GoFundMe and we'll get Mike on the $500 Tinder for a month and we'll see what happens. So if we get enough support from the Fair Enough listeners, we will absolutely put Mike on to basically celebrity Tinder.
Yeah, that shit's insane, bro. I almost dropped my fucking jaw. I was like, how dare they? But
okay. Next week, we might have to do a little bit of TikTok talk because this rug guy's coming back into my life and I want to talk about it a little bit and some other things on TikTok. So let's, I'm going to make a note right now on my next page to make sure that we talk about that next week. But anything else, boys?
No, I think we're good to go.
Okay, perfect. All right. That was the Michael Strahan episode 92. Thank you for rocking with us. Have a great week. Hopefully it's not too chilly where you are, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.